Good afternoon and welcome all of you. I am Ritesh Chawla. Welcome to the School Leadership Virtual Webinar Series called Reimagine. Today, we have panelists with us who are going to talk about a very important topic, and I will shortly introduce them. But before that, I would like to share a bit about UniApply. So, all the viewers who have joined us, UniApply is a pioneer platform for all your school admission needs, right from shortlisting, comparing, applying to the school of your choice through one single application form. Being India's largest enrollment automation platform, we have transformed and digitized the entire process of school admission. Today, the discussion is focused on the important topic how to select stream, right? And today, the panelists are going to help the audience that how this process works in real life in the school. Thus, the topic for today is how do I choose the right stream and board after class 10. So, today, without taking much of time, I would like to introduce my panelists. So today, the first panelist I would like to introduce is Miss Dimple Puri. Ma'am is principal with Saint Anandram Jaipuria School, Greater Noida. Welcome, Dimple ma'am. Now, I would like to welcome Miss Richa Sharma. Ma'am is principal with Raghav Global School, Noida. Welcome, Richa ma'am.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Right. So now I would like to welcome Sujit Tandon sir. Sir is principal with Rockwood School, Noida. Welcome, Sujit sir.
Uh, Thank you, Ritesh ji, and good evening to all the panelists. It's an opportunity for me to learn from all of you. Thank you so much for making me a part of it.
Right. Thank you. Now I would like to welcome Anju Wadhwan ma'am. She is officiating principal for Ramagya School, Dadri. Welcome, Anju ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Ritesh.
So thank you so much. So today we have London panelists and we are going to discuss very important topic, right? And I'm sure the audience will learn a lot. And just I would like to tell you these questions today, which we are going to ask you, are really basic, and these are the basic problem when somebody move from class 10 to class 11, right? Because as a parent, as a teacher, you must have also come across this situation where a kid has to decide for a stream with respect to their career, right? So without taking much time, I would like to start with my first question, and the first question goes to Dimple ma'am. So ma'am, as you know, the real situation in the school, because when it comes to stream selection, people think about a subject, right, or liking or disliking. So for example, a lot of student, because India has masses, and the masses, many of the students, they don't have a strong like or dislike for any particular subject. So how someone can decide for a stream and what is best for them? What could be the basis, ma'am?
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You are very much audible.
So, a very good afternoon to one and all present here, dear students, parents, team UniApply, and my distinguished panel. Thank you, Ritesh, for having me here amidst the distinguished panel. So, I must congratulate all the children for taking up class 10th board exams. They are over, and we are hearing a lot of good feedback from the students and parents that this time the balanced question papers have come, and these question papers have satisfied the students to a great extent in terms of catering to the differentiated needs of learners. So I am actually, looking forward to a great outcome of the students. So as dear students, you take a sigh of relief after taking class 10th board exams, you are at a crossroad of a very, very important decision of how to choose your stream in class 11 in order to build up a potential career. Now, many of you, dear students, you are yet to learn your career ambitions. So out of all of you, only some of the students actually know what stream they have to decide, what subjects you have to choose. Other set of students, you depend upon your peers or parents, what they might think for you is the best. But a major chunk of students depend upon the support. And today we have gathered here as a panel to enable you to take an informed decision in this regard. And pertinently addressing to Ritesh's question, that if a student whether likes or dislikes and still he's confused about opting a stream, I would suggest a 5-step approach towards it. So the
Right.
first point in this 5-step approach is that you have to be self-aware. You should know by and now that in class 10th, which subjects you have scored well, which subjects you have enjoyed the most versus the subjects you have not enjoyed the most and you could not score well, right?
Right.
So here it comes that you have to be very conscious in your decision making about your strengths and weaknesses. And therefore, you can list out 2 to 3 important things which I may suggest you. Number one, make a list of the subjects you would like to continue. Second, rule out the subjects you want to discontinue. But third,
Right.
very important thing is that there may be some subjects that you are still confused or you are unaware of whether I should take up or I should not take up. Say, for
Right.
example, maths is one subject, and certain children who perform in the bracket of 75% to 85% in class 10th in maths, they are very perturbed about whether we should take it up or we should not take it up. So what you should do, you should introspect yourself that are you good at maths? Do you really like maths? Are you able to take willingness to practice maths and then you can score better in class 11th? So these are certain questions which you must be aware, and you should introspect and retrospect from time to time. The second approach is that you can take up a career test, and this will be a great starting point for all of you. And in this case, the verified assessment tests are scientifically designed by various companies in the market.
Right.
I may not name the companies. You may research on your own with the help of your parents, peers, teachers. The schools also invite such companies and they administer the assessment tests in terms of, the preferred learning styles of the children, their personality tests, their attitude, their ability, and therefore they help in the right informed decision. So this is talking about the career test. Now, third comes that the child should know the what type of learning goals you want to achieve in life. And this is very tough, but yet a very important step, that you are looking towards future, but yet you have to work backwards where you are standing today. So for
Right.
you have to ask certain questions to yourself, that am I a person who would like to work in silos or work independently, in simpler words, or you are a person who would like to be a team maker or a collaborator. So based
Right.
on these questions, you can decide a career for yourself, and therefore you can choose the stream where it would lead you to. Then you can have an active decision making, and an active decision making can be done by researching on your own or with the help of your peers or with the help of your parents. And this kind of decision making will actually lead you through. And let me tell you, children, in this entire process, you just have to understand that what do you like the most.
Right.
Careers can be made by any stream. Careers can be made by any stream repeatedly, emphatically. I'm telling you, the only thing is you have to follow it up with the passion and diligence. So based upon this decision making, you're choosing the right learning career goals, your self-awareness, your career tests. These are certain things by which you can decide the career option after class 10th, whether at this present stage you are liking or you are disliking the subject. Thank you so much.
So wonderfully explained, Dimple ma'am. In fact, the very first and important point which you mentioned about ruling out and opting the subject which you like and dislike. So this sounds really interesting, but at the same time, are we really acceptable to the fact that because we keep fighting for something which we can't achieve sometime, right? So we have to accept. So I would want Sujit sir to add on his view on this ruling out of subject and opting out for a subject, which Dimple ma'am mentioned. So, sir, Dimple ma'am mentioned that one has to opt the subject which they like most and rule out the subject which they dislike, right? Which they don't like doing or they have scored less. But the fact is, we also keep fighting with the subject. Even if we are not able to do it, we don't accept. Like there's a traditional thought, okay, maths ke bina to kuch nahi hoga, right? So despite the fact we are not doing well in maths in class 10 and we'll go for maths in class 11. So I'm just taking maths as an example. There could be some other subject also. So how much acceptance that parent community or the student community has when it comes to ruling out some subject or adding on some subject?
Yeah, this is a very traditional. Ms. Dimple Puri spoke very well. I mean, very high quality words, reveals her, high class experience. Thank you so much for your entitlement, ma'am. What I feel is when students move out from class 10 to class 11, a lot of times they have that stigmatic approach towards a stream. Suppose a student scores about 90% in class 10 and he or she wants to choose, say, humanities, wants to become a lawyer or wants to give an IS entrance or whatever. I mean, choosing her type of subjects or his type of subjects, there can be a stigma, the peer group or the relatives, they might make a mockery out of it that you've done so well and you're not going for science. So Ms. Dimple rightly pointed out that it is very essential for parents as well as students to not go what traditionally has been happening. Corona has already broken those barriers. If we do what we did, we get what we got. So now we are in a very, very new environment and we need to upgrade our thought processes and equally our skills. So what
Right.
I feel is if a student is able to assess his or her strength in what she's or he is going to be good at, I think that is the biggest find one can do after Columbus did for America. So had
Right.
Columbus gone back, nobody would have blamed him. Why did he go back? He went ahead and found America. And so, we will be having a lot many stars if they pursue what they want to do. So Ms.
Right.
Dimple rightly pointed that out, that opting out and selecting what we make redundant that is not required and opt in for those that are required without any assumption of peer pressure and kind of stigmatic projection from other people around you. So it is very
Right.
important. See, I have seen, we can have anybody do very well from any stream. So there is no criteria that only science students do well or only commerce students do well or only humanities students do well. So it depends. It is absolutely dependent on the work ethic and the progressive approach and mindset the student develops while he or she is taking education.
Right.
So we need to have positive perspective for whatever it is. The aim should be towards learning, evolving, and then become excellent through practice.
Right.
This should
Right.
be the approach, and parents should encourage. Suppose a person who's good at science does not want to study science and wants to study accounts and finance, should not be discouraged. Let the
Right.
student choose and let him take a stride, let him or her take a stride and move forward in an unknown area. Probably in a different area, they'll do even better. So
Right.
it so happens that when a bright student comes to a low regarded stream, I mean, I've faced that practically myself, that very good students come and join humanities and their peer group makes mockery of them. So
Right.
that puts, that's the psychological damage a student undergoes when they are in class 11 and class 12, while they are forming their personality, while they are acquiring new level of knowledge. So that can be a confidence dampener, and that can actually, lead to a change in direction for not so good developments. So what
In
I would,
fact, in
yes,
fact, you have raised a very good point that psychological damage when it comes to somebody with a high score opting for humanities. There's mockery happened within the class, and the society asked a lot of questions that why humanities. So I'll come back with that question, sir. But before that, I would like to just wrap up this question. So I'll quickly go back to Richa ma'am. Thank you, Sujit sir, for putting putting your
Thank you.
point
My pleasure.
across. Uh,
My pleasure.
so Richa ma'am, we though we spoke about ruling out a subject or adding a subject with respect to the career, right? But how one should go about their stream selection? Should one consider about the liking of the subject, or and how they should basically link this directly with the career? Because one subject cannot really define your career path, right? It's a collective learning which we speak about, but generally people perceive that, okay, if I personally like one subject, that is going to help me for a particular career. So how one should plan for this, ma'am?
Ritesh rightly said, first of all, I would just like to inform all the students and parents that when you are defining the path, the career path for yourself, remember that grade 11 and 12 is the first step towards the growth, the career path. We have seen the pandemic times, there has been a lot of disruption that has taken place across the world, be it technology, be it careers, be it any field you pick up. Now, one must see that the future is now completely unpredictable, and so is the job sector. Because
Right.
when children, they would move out for their higher education after completing grade 11 and 12, of course, they'll be applying for various courses in various colleges because they have one particular dream in mind that I would like to be so and so. Now, a small homework, that I would like them to do for themselves is that find yourself where you would be after 7 years. You see, the human resource that is going to come in the job sector after 7 to 8 years is right now going to sit in grade 11, right? So we don't know what kind of job sector would be there at that time, how many jobs would become suddenly obsolete from the market. So when you're selecting these subjects, opting or going with your likings, think over it again in the sense that how much interest one you have in that particular subject. Second, the most important skill, learning to learn again. So one should not get disheartened that this particular subject, if I take up and maybe the job sector would not be ready for me at that time, should not dishearten me. So all the learning that would take place, or the choice of subjects that you're taking right now in grade 11 and 12, is just a step towards your higher education. So of course, go ahead with the psychometric tests as Dimple ma'am suggested, because that's going to tell you your aptitude, your attitude, your behavior. A lot of things are tested, and that's where you would get an idea that what kind of subject area expertise you actually possess, and
Right.
work towards it. That's one important aspect. Second, I would like to suggest children that of course one has to focus, right? Have an aim, dream big in your life, but always have two plans. There has to be a plan A and there has to be a plan B in your career path. And choice of subjects need to have a mix of both the career paths that you're choosing, the plan A and plan B. So as you mentioned that people go with the traditional streams, like nothing can be done in commerce without maths. It's
Right.
not. And this is, I think, where the role of a career counselor comes in. There are a
Right.
lot of options available in the stream selection, in the career choices as well, where people are excelling without maths. So it's not
Right.
essential. And as Dimple ma'am mentioned, that it's very important for us to understand whether I'm a collaborator or a person who's a team worker, or I would like to work independently. Because across the world, you can see it's an era of startups, I would say that. Everyone coming up with their own work, their own projects. So think on those lines, that what kind of future you see yourself 7 years down the line. Explore what are the future jobs available for me. If you're a science student, so think, if you're wanting to go into medicine, that what is the future of medicine now? So is it integrating biotechnology? Is it integrating technology with medicine? There's robotics coming in surgery. There's nanobots coming and entering your body. So lots and lots of things which are associated with technology coming to your, coming to you as a career options.
Right. In fact, today we are going to cover a lot of gray area. I would call it gray area when it comes to school. We don't talk, widely about those topics like YouTube content creator, influencer, which we see these days in our real life, right? So, in fact, we'll cover those area. But just before your question, Richa ma'am, Sujit sir were talking about some of the fundamentals when it comes to humanities. There's a stigma, I would say, that people do mockery if somebody with a high score they go for humanities. So my next question is for Sujit sir, and I will quickly take the view of Anju ma'am on the answer of Sujit sir. So sir, the question for you is, nowadays you know that top scorers are also opting for humanities, like you spoke, right? And low scorers are wishing to go for sciences. So are parents able to absorb this fundamental change? Because of course school has their own system, and wishes of a parent and a student is different, right? But as a school, how are you helping those parent and set of student in understanding this new normal?
So I think post 2020, there is a new outlook and new approach that is taking place, because people have become more flexible, seeing the kind of, the kind of joblessness that happened during the pandemic in the beginning and in the second phase of the second wave. So now people are more open. This is what I feel, that people are more open. They don't have that fixated ideas of, creating a fixed profession or a business. They are now realizing that a business family may need to empower their children to be, capable of working under somebody with a decent amount of earning capability and, knowledge level. So that outlook shift is definitely happened because of COVID challenges posed by the COVID virus. But I think to sustain this level of flexibility, some delivery has to happen, which will take, as Richa ma'am also pointed out, that we have to see in 7 years from now, we have to, inculcate that vision in the mind of children, that where do they see themselves in next 7 years. So the skill creation and the rate of obsolescence of the jobs that are going to prevail today, how well are they going to be supportive in next 7 to 10 years? So that anticipation and, the startup culture that is prevailing, the entrepreneurial development of the mindset of children and the parents, because unless and until the parents support them, they will have that limitation of thought process. So I think home support is very, very important to a new thought, to an out of box thinking that will help the students evolve faster, and the change which is demanded by the environment today. We cannot afford to be slow now. We have to adapt very fast, because the change is happening much faster than what we think. In last 2 years, it has shown us many levels of evolution we needed to have. We moved from offline to online, and subsequently teachers had to upskill themselves, and then everybody is more flexible towards the change now. So I think they would have a more conducive environment that needs to be seen in coming times. So I feel it's a good change which I am observing.
Right. Thank you for putting your point across, Sujit sir. Welcome, Upma ma'am. So Dr. Upma Roda with us now. Ma'am is principal with JVM Global School, Noida. So once again, welcome, ma'am. So I will quickly go to Anju ma'am. Anju ma'am, there's a question of a viewer now. Instead of throwing my question, I would like to ask you one question from a viewer. So they says that okay, if I don't have any liking or disliking in any subject, which stream I should go for? I don't know anything. I am blank. What should I opt for? What is your answer to this question?
For this, I would say that a child should think about liking or disliking is okay, but just as ma'am said, that you have to think after 10 years, where do you see yourself? So for that, you will be able to understand and realize what stream would you like to choose. Okay, and then yes, and then first of all, you should decide whether you would like to be a doctor or an engineer, or what, or you want to go for humanities or commerce, whatever. So yes, now here again comes liking and disliking, because children sometimes don't realize what do they like. But I would say that you should think, uh, check with your friends, discuss it with your friends, and then come to a solution, and think about what you want to be in, where do you want to see yourself after 10 years. Only then you will realize what stream would you like to take. Okay, and then I would suggest the parents also to guide the children,
Right.
sit with them, talk to them, guide their children, what will be best for them. And but do not force, please parents, do not force the children to take any stream. Let them decide for themselves, because they are nowadays, like, children are responsible enough, they are matured enough to decide upon the stream. So I would
Right.
say that yes, so parents should help them, and then children should take, schools also should go for the counseling sessions. There are so many counselors, career counselors, so school should arrange some counseling sessions for the children, so that they can decide upon the stream which they would like to take.
Wonderfully put across, ma'am. In fact, next question is little important and tricky also. So I would like to ask this question to Upma, ma'am, since she has joined now with us. So, ma'am, dropping a year instead of choosing a stream, you think that it's more like a taboo these days? How are you able to tackle this? Because of course, dropping in year is like a very big thing. Or actually, is it worth of dropping in year just for selecting a right stream? Because lot many time what happens, student comes with a low score and they says, okay, I would want to go for this particular stream, right?
Yes. Uh, Good afternoon to everyone. Gone are the days when it used to be a taboo. Now the children are clear that after grade 12, they proudly say that, okay, I want to give break to myself. I want to prepare wholeheartedly for NEET exam, for IIT exam, or this, that. So it's not a taboo. It was a taboo few years back. Now the children realize and the parents do realize, and moreover our environment, our neighborhood have accepted this, that okay, they are giving time to themselves and they are preparing very well for the exams. And like in NEET exam, there used to be captation of 60 lakh, 70 lakh, or whatever. So now the children and the parents have taken it otherwise. Okay, let them give a chance, let them have a peace of mind and then do it. So it's not a taboo these days.
Right, right. So thank you, ma'am. My next question is for Dimple, ma'am. Ma'am, somebody would really don't have a specific chosen career, right? And they are really uncertain about what they should pursue in future uh, as a career, right? So before that, I was talking about a stream they are not sure. But if somebody is not really sure about a career, right? So which stream they should go for? So okay, if I'm not okay with the fact that I'm not aware which stream I should go for. But if I'm not decided with the career, then what is there to have in my platter?
So
Dimple ma'am.
again, I would resonate my feelings with what Richa ma'am has said, that a person has to look for, 8 years, 10 years down the line. What are her, life goals? He has to have the goal setting. So before,
Right,
so first is at the hierarchy, if you see, it is goal setting. Then comes the career and then comes the stream. So one should have a proper goal setting. And for that, you have to have organizational goals. And then you come zero down to your career, and then you zero down to your stream. Because personally, I feel that, as Richa ma'am has said, that pandemic has taught us to prepare our Gen Z. We usually call this generation as Gen Z, to prepare them for an unpredictable and an unforeseen future. And what
right,
I perceive as an educator is that I don't believe in the academic premises. Ritesh, you yourself, you are a law student, and look what you are doing today. So I think your academic degree did not fetch this head of the development of UniApply. It was your requisite skills abilities, attitudes, your personality development, and your
Right.
vitality towards your goal setting in your life that has fetched you this position. And I think children like you, they are doing it with lot of diligence. So for me, let's aspire our children to dreams high, to have goals in their life, because Richa ma'am rightly said 7 years, 10 years down the line, you never know what jobs will be available. So we have to train our children with the right employability skills. Our academic calendars, our curriculum should be altered enough. The new education policy is very profoundly talking about experiential learning, inquiry based learning, competency based learning, and all these learnings, they are shifting our mindset from the rote learning to moving on to the reservoir of equipping our children with the 21st century skill sets. We need to prepare our children with 4 C's of success, that is creativity, communication, collaboration, critical thinking. So instead of only talking about achieving our academic goals, degrees, grades, marks, let us urge as educators to our dear parents that they should not impose their aspirations and ambitions. What their parents did, I think we should not repeat. And if
Right.
I talk about me as a parent, my daughter is pursuing her last year of economics honors at Delhi University. And the UNICEF team, specially, they came to our house for interviewing both me and my husband. That did you force your child to, opt for science? We said absolutely not. My daughter wanted commerce. She was a brilliant student in her school, but we supported her in her decisions. So, dear parents, listen to your children. They have their goals, they have their life, they have their aspirations. I don't say that you don't guide them. Please guide them in their way forward, but at least
Right.
impose yourself upon them. Thank you so much.
Right. So thank you so much for mentioning even my example, Dimple ma'am. That's I would like to thank you once again. And of course, this is very critical and important topic, because even if I remember my school days, uh, I remember that we had absolutely no clarity when it comes to stream selection when we are even passing class 10. And when that moment comes to us, right, in general, I'm talking about, then we take and we think, right? I'm sure that nowadays school must be really helping from class ninth or maybe downwards
Eight,
from class
eight,
6,
eight,
right?
eight,
Right.
sixth, seventh, eighth onwards, they are helping.
Right. So that's where I would like Upma ma'am's opinion, that how these days, ma'am, schools are even helping student right from the downgraded classes like class 6, right, or let's say class 7, that how they should shape up in a way so that they are pretty much clear about which stream they should go for. Or maybe if they want to switch the board in class 11, they would want to go for an IB board, or let's suppose they want to switch any board from CBSE, or let's say from IB to CBSE, how school helps student to basically understand about these learning and facts.
See, this choice starts from, we have international curriculum, Cambridge curriculum, right from class 1. And they have been given an option which way to go. And they are like in class 1 they choose, and then in class 5 they have an option to switch over to CBSE and to Cambridge board, and then 8. There are checkpoints. So there we see the interest of the child, the capability, the potential of the child. That's how we decide their curriculum, which CBSE curriculum or Cambridge curriculum. And as far as choices of stream are concerned, we with NEP intervening and with these new subjects, mixture of having economics in science stream and psychology in science stream, and having other business studies in humanities. So these are certain different combinations that the children are coming up, and we guide them, especially especially at different levels counseling sessions happen. Parents are aware. Parents are aware. They go for their counseling. There are psychometric tests that are happening. According to that also, they check their temperament, which way the child should go. The temperament is towards mathematics or towards science or arts. So these psychometric tests are also very helpful. And you know what, this time I had done a deep study. I told my teachers all, who are the facilitators, they themselves found out and they themselves guided the students, right? Like 3 months back we had a counseling session between the teachers and the parents and the students. So they themselves guided, rather than having any outside body like counselors having up, because they don't know exactly how the child is doing, how the child is has improved. So they have come up with good ideas. They have given good options to them, that which way to go after. If you choose this subject, which are the areas which where they can join that, where will be where will it benefit them. So this is how we are guiding them. And after everything, the parents should support, because it is the family who decide. It is the family who should intervene and do the counseling, which way to go, which one is helpful. Where if a business class family is there, there is a bend of mind that who is going to take care of my business after me. There is a big question mark till date.
I agree. That's a real fact, I would say.
Till date, it's a big question mark. The children who have the parents as business, they also want their legacy to be continued. So they have little expectations. Then they find the mixed bag of it. Okay, you choose this subject so that either you are doing a job or you have a safer side to join our business. So this is how the parents also play a pivotal role in this. And as far as job is concerned, it is the, like we guide the students, whether if you want, you have a bent of mind towards economics, or you have a service mind, or you want to go in job or in research work. So this is how we tell them, okay, these are the options. Right from nursery to 12, we have different options. Like in the school, we have robotics for them, aeronautical subject is there, we have abacus, we have Vedic maths, different activities are there. Even if they want to choose sports as a career, we have ample of options for them. So these are the options. Why do we give these options in the school? Just to know, just to have a glimpse of all these things, wherein the child's mindset can set. And okay, few children are there who want to choose cricket as their career, so they have an option. We guide them accordingly. So this is how a lot of factors, environmental factors are there, which decide the stream of a subject for a student.
Right. In fact, thank you, ma'am, for putting this across. I would now go to Anju, ma'am, to ask an extended question to this. Ma'am, see, schools are helping a lot. Like uh, just now, Dr. Upma mentioned that school has a lot to offer. But now, school are in a practice to go for such a method where they are calling an industry expert to the school and making student learn right from the the right person, I would say, somebody who can really guide them that what is happening in that particular industry. So let's suppose there's a company who who are making robots, right? Somebody from there, addressing student and telling them about that how a journey can be if you land in this career, and what will be your prospect in like 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, if we were talking about. So our school in such a practice where they are calling upon the industry expert and helping students?
Yes, see, those who are working in such industries, they are the best guides, right? They can guide the children much better than we can guide, right? Because they are practically they are doing that. So that is very important, and it will help the students to decide, because students will be in a way practically, observing or see in imagining that what the person is explaining. So I think it is better to call the person from that industry, from that particular industry, to explain or to guide the students, so that they can learn and they can decide, decision will become easier for the students after learning and after listening to the particular person.
Right, right. So I will quickly go to Richa
Uh,
ma'am, and in fact, would thank you, Anju ma'am. Would ask the same question because I want the opinion from different leader on this same question. So, ma'am, our school following this practice of calling the industry expert and helping student is number one, and number two, I will ask you question once you address this, and then I have one another important question for you.
Yes, of course, Ritesh. That's one of the best practices, I would say that. And, we have the parent as the good resource for it. So
Right,
we have a data of parents who are professional parents, and they are the best guide to the students. So generally, we invite people from different domains of, professional life, be it author, be it creative people, people from media industry. We have lawyers coming and addressing children. We have people from medicine, engineering background. We have a parent who's a pass out from IIT Kharagpur and he's a chemical engineer. So generally they would come and speak to the students of grade 10 and 12 because they have closely, experienced, they share their journey right from the classroom towards the entering that higher education colleges and then choosing the right career options. So in fact, a few days ago we had one of the IPS officers addressing children, because many a times children aspire to look forward to uh, the IAS and IPS services as well. So how and when their journey started, and what were the challenges that they faced. So children had a lot of questions. So what we do
right,
is we brief children about the person who's going to come and address them so that they're well prepared with their questions that they look forward to. And the same
right,
goes for the parent as well, that we prepare them that this is the age group you are catering to, and the children would like to share your would like to learn from your experiences of how you have moved from the school to the IIT or to a particular college and then to the industry. So that linking of industry directly to the classroom is one of the very important aspect. I think all schools are, I believe, doing very well.
right. Thank you so much, ma'am. In fact, I wanted this is really insightful that parents are the power, right? Because you already have a hub of professional who are sending their wards to school, and if school is using that as resource person, that is really commendable. And I'm sure a lot of schools are practicing the same. But Richa ma'am, as we know that we as a school has categorized, you know, this humanities, sciences, and commerce. But there are number of students who would probably like to study economics because of their interest in the market or interest in the economic, right? So they would want to study economics as a subject with science stream, right? Or let's say there must be a student who loves playing with numbers and they would want to go for maths, but as a stream they would want to go for humanities. So how school caters such cases? Number one. Number two, are there some logistical challenges if school refuse or school accept that condition or the requirement of the student?
Ritesh, I would just like to inform you that now I think every school has become very flexible because CBSE, is giving that freedom to every student to choose whatever subject combination they can. Of course, I agree there are limitations so far timetable and logistics is concerned, but if you have a will, there is a way, definitely. And like I'll give you an example that I have a combination where my science stream students can study fine arts, right? Science stream students can opt for economics. Science stream children can take psychology. Similarly, humanities has a combination where children are studying humanities subject, but they have computer science as well. So when I mentioned in my previous address that we always give and we guide children to have plan A and plan B. So there are options available for them so that when they move out after 2 years, They can apply to various colleges. They can think of two parallel career options available, that if plan A doesn't work, I have plan B ready for myself. And 2 years is a big enough period for a child to understand the interest as well. Initially, maybe, my choice or my decision could be wrong, that I think that my interest is in maths, but gradually I realized that maths is not a cup of tea when it is advanced in grade 10th and in grade 11th and 12th. So I might drop it after grade 12 and I'll take up plan B. If you see the undergrad courses now available and Delhi University conducting a very common test, it's giving you an option that you can apply for an undergrad course even to the subject which you have not studied in grade 11th and 12th. So the key here is that it's not academics, that as Dimple ma'am, mentioned, that what's important is the skill that you are developing during these 2 years, skill to learn, skill to be creative, the 4 C's that she's talking about. So if you have that ability to bounce back again and start a separate subject in undergrad, I think you will be successful in years to come. So all schools, I think nowadays are very open to have different combinations. And I think the traditional stream selection during our times in 90s is over now.
Right. Right. So wonderfully explained, Richa ma'am. In fact, now the next question, which I spoke that it seems like little gray when we talk about mainstream schooling and K-12, and I would want all the stakeholder to answer this question, and I would just request, because we are running short of time, so to keep just 2 minute answer, and that because your feedback of all the stakeholders will help our audience to learn and understand in a better way. So, as I spoke in the middle of this session, that lot many careers like YouTubers, content creators, influencers, where people are making money, and it is more like they are passionate about creating something, and eventually they figured out that okay, their passion is actually paying them back, right? Because digital is one source which has emerged in last few years greatly, that there is no formal degree or any formal education is required, but you are good at something and you are creating, and that is paying you back, right? So what is your take and how we are helping student in the mainstream education when it comes to a job like content creator, influencer, or something related to the same domain? So I would want Dimple ma'am to start. Then I'll keep calling one by one. So Dimple ma'am.
So, Ritesh, a very good question. I think all of us will agree to the fact that technology has been the biggest game changer of this 21st century. And
Right.
the impact of social media is actually causing, a great influence on the minds of this generation, millennial generations. So I will just quote an example of a student of mine. He's very fond of doing vlogs.
Okay. Okay.
He's very fond of doing this, and he watches a vlogger whose name is Saurabh Joshi in the YouTube. And
He's
that,
quite a famous guy.
yeah, so that boy Saurabh Joshi, he is passionate about cars, automobiles, though he's from a very, very rural background. He doesn't possess those academic degrees. But the fact is, the underlying fact is that he's earning in crores. And I
Right.
such influence what you are talking about, that even if we don't possess that academic degree, but if we have that required skill sets to present
Right.
ourselves in this dynamic world, in this competitive world, then I think the influencers and the social media impact, it's going to give a big pathway. What I agree, and I have seen it from the ground reality of that person. And my student is very passionately, following it. He has started making vlogs, though I tell my student to, optimally, utilize his or her talent. But then this is the impact what I have seen. Yeah.
Right. In fact, I'll quickly go to Sujit sir, and thank you, Dimple ma'am. Sujit sir, there may be a negative impact also because you certainly need direction. Just you are getting influenced by somebody like Saurabh Joshi or maybe some other influencer, right? But you are not actually leading to a right direction. So that could be a fallback for you. So how is there any provision that school can help student and have regular interaction where they can know well and they can know a true story from a student and help them accordingly? Sir, you have to unmute.
I think if teachers are proactive, which we always encourage through our routine trainings and staff meetings, so teachers have to be proactive because they are closest to students. And
Right,
change is the only constant we have. We have witnessed that very, very permanently now. That change is the only constant now. We've got to find new occupations where people are making huge money. And there's no harm in getting in those occupations because in times to come, they could be sustainable. See,
right,
from a perspective of a traditional parent, say 10 years ago, if somebody would refer to a content writer or a content creator on YouTube and other social medias, nobody would value them at that time. But what has happened in pandemic, I mean, you find somebody who was not known before pandemic and all of a sudden they have 1 million followers on YouTube and other, Instagrams, and influencers have other various medias where, they are able to generate revenue and consistently sustain them for that for themselves. So we've got to, the teacher definitely can be very, very instrumental in finding that, whether you're moving in the right direction or you need to make a course correction. So I think teachers will have an instrumental role in that along with a collaboration with parents. See, the thing is in
right,
adolescence, the parents may or may not know where the child is moving. So
right,
bridging that communication is the most important essence of evolution of a child, to help the child evolve, where teachers and parents have to collaborate very, very firmly. And I think PTM is one of the very essential tools that engages the parent and the teacher, and they can have a open word about the development of the student, of their children. And I think we definitely can, we cannot be foolproof, but we can have an initiative, and we can, I think you've raised a very, very good point that we should start introspecting and help students evolve like this and encourage them. And in case they are just swerving away, we should help them come back on the track.
right. So I would want our panelists to be super quick on the answer. And so Anju ma'am, now do you think that making some forum like in school we have like environment committee or we have certain cells which help other student to basically learn and give a direction towards what they want to achieve. So do you think it's a good initiative if somebody at the school level or the leadership level can plan for certain cells where these students who would want to become some influencer or a content creator can be given a direction or this thought process can be streamlined?
Yes, yes, Ritesh. I feel that empowering the students is very important because once they are empowered, they are given some responsibilities. Peers influence better, and it can go negative also sometimes that they feel peer pressure and they go on the wrong path. But I feel that if the children are given empowerment and they decide and they discuss with their peers and they guide them accordingly, I think it is much better because they learn better from their peers. Sometimes they feel that parents are not right, but my friend is, whatever he's saying, he's right. So I feel that yes,
Absolutely.
empowering the student for all these things is very important, so they
Right,
become responsible ones. Yes.
right,
So
right. Right. So, last from Richa ma'am, your view on the same question, the influencer and the content creator, how schools can help to streamline and give a right direction so that they can become successful and they should not even fall. They
Okay.
must be streamlined.
I would say that, when you have creativity in your curriculum and when you focus on the 8 multiple intelligence that Howard Gardner talks about, where there are some children in class who are bodily kinesthetic, some are, focused towards musical aspects, some are naturalists, some are good in logical mathematics. Some have got interpersonal or intrapersonal kind of intelligence. When you work, collaboratively to different domains and makes a child realize his or her potential, I think then gradually, as the child move on, he could find his own self and can, if he has got interest, he can work on a blog or he can create his own Instagram post. But rightly said by, Anju ma'am, that one needs to be very careful with the peer pressure, because the world is very attractive. The social media, platform is very, very attractive, lucrative, but it also has its own side effects, especially psychological. So I think the right direction in the school, the counseling done by the parent, for the parents and by the parents and by the school, is the right way to approach such things. But of course, creativity is the key. So the more you
Right.
encourage creativity in your school curriculum, you will find children coming up with the best, on these social media platforms.
Right. So I would now would like to ask one question to Upma ma'am. So ma'am, how can student be prevent from a wrong influence? So of course, empowering is something where you can share a lot of right content, but how this can be streamlined?
I wanted to conclude, and I wanted to say, since I was the last one to conclude, and I was talking to you, hearing about all these things. So, to me, giving values. To me, how to know, like we all know that rote learning is being eradicated. So, we should tell the technique to choose the right and wrong. We must give them value education so that what is good and what is bad for them. We have to, we cannot teach content. No teacher can give the content. It is
Right.
we are just the facilitators. We cannot teach them ABCD. We cannot teach them. It is just, we are just shaping them. We are just pushing them. Okay, this way you can go. This way, this is photosynthesis. This is how it is done. It is the child. We have to make his habits form. It is a
Right.
child. We have to inculcate those ways by which a child can choose what is right, what is wrong. We have to make them creative. We have to make them good thinkers. So if they think,
Right.
think tank is there, they can choose what is right and what is wrong. If we tell them, if we drill them, okay, this is the question, this is the answer, they write it in the CBSE exam. So this is not to be done. We have to tell them, okay, this is the situation, you deal with it, and how you can come out of this. This is how, if the education is being drilled to the children, then only the children can become independent thinkers, independent learners, and good citizen. Value education is more important than anything. Even in Finland, you might have heard, like if at all values are there, a child can become anything.
Right.
If there's no PhD, there's nothing. If he has a positive bent of mind, if he is productive, his actions are streamlined, there's no way to like there's no looking back. He can succeed, become he can become an influencer too.
Right.
That influencer which man was talking, I suppose his name is Saurabh. So he was not knowing when he did that. He was not knowing that he's going to be successful. If
Right.
he did it with passion. He wanted to do something different. And that's how he became. So great people
Right.
never wished and never thought that they will be becoming great. They did it because their value was there, that instinct, that positivity, that productivity was there, and that's how all together became a good product, and they become famous, they become successful. So there's no success mantra. It is the dedication, positive thinking, and the value education which plays important role in child's life.
So wonderfully concluded this question, ma'am. In fact, we have hit the time. Though one last and very important question, which I would like to ask Dimple ma'am to answer in just as short as possible, because this question is really important. And as an educator, you must be seeing and coming across such situation that some of the parents they really get adamant when it comes to choosing a particular stream, right? Regardless of their child's score, because school has certain criteria when it comes to allotting a stream. They are looking for certain level of score for the for sciences, humanities, and commerce, and this is how traditionally school allot. So how do you deal or cope up with such parents? And is there any CBSE policies or norms to deal with such situation, or it's a complete discretion of school, ma'am?
Sitish, in this case, every school has a roadmap for the preparation, for the parent preparedness, I would say. We call it as a parent preparedness, that right from the half yearly, once the child appears for half yearly and the results come, then we start discussing with the parents that what are the strengths and what are the weaknesses of the child. And at times the parents come up with the questions that ma'am, my child to wants science and he is lagging behind, तो आप कुछ करिए, ऐसे तो होगा नहीं कि 11th में he doesn't take up science. So then we discuss the criterias with them, that what is the minimum criteria for the child to get the stream of science. So this is one part. Another part is that in the month of January, February, the schools release the stream forms to the parents with the scheme of subjects and with the minimum criteria, so that the parent identifies, the parent sits with and then gives out the options, as Richa ma'am said, plan A, plan B, the first choice, second choice, third choice. And even if after the result, when the school allocates the stream, at times the parents get very rigid, the parents get very adamant, and they keep requesting for the choice of their subject. So in that case, what the schools do, either you become very, very discreet about your decision, or in other case, at times the school has a very leveraging opinion, taking an undertaking from the parent and observing the performance of the child till UT1, right?
Right.
If the child doesn't perform in the first unit test as per the expected parameters, then the child is supposed to change the stream. And every school has a different policy, although it is in compliance with CBSE. But
so is there, I would just like to interject, ma'am. So is there any clear-cut guideline from the CBSE where one has to follow that? Like,
yes,
as a school?
the clear-cut guidelines is that if you are talking about the science stream, it should be between 85 to 90%. If you precisely talk about PCM with computer science, that is the best. Then if you come about PCM with economics, then little lower. Then PCB, 2 to 3-4%, little lower. So this is the criteria which almost all the schools they follow at the same time. Yeah.
Right. So thank you so much, Dimple ma'am, for answering this question in such a short time. And though the question was pretty long and relevant for the audience, and because we have already hit the time, so I would like to thank you all the audience who have joined us right today. And it was such a insightful session where we discussed this, how to select a stream, and in fact we discussed a lot about the conventional career, new age career, the content creation, YouTuber. So we actually discussed lot many things beyond what we supposed to discuss, right? So that was one point, and thank you to all the stakeholders who shared their experience today with our audience. And this session is available on the Facebook, so those who have missed, they can go back and they can check on the UniApply page of Facebook. They can see this session. And just again, I would like to share that I am Ritesh. I am from UniApply, and would like to tell you what UniApply is basically deal with. So UniApply is just a technology platform where we help parents to explore school. So digitally, they can come on UniApply, they can explore school, they can compare school, and in fact, using UniApply, they can apply for a particular school, and they can complete the application process on the UniApply platform itself digitally. So you don't need to run from pillar to post when it comes to school admission. So this is how we are helping parent community, and we are helping school for their visibility. So with this, I would like to thank each one of you, all the leaders who joined us, who spared their time to share their insightful experience and how they help students and the parents. Thank you so much, and would love to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ritesh. Thank you, UniApply. Thank you to all the distinguished panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ritesh.
Lovely meeting you all here. Thank you.
Ritesh. Thank you,
Lovely
everyone.
Thank you.
deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.